able to capture the first game against RRQ. Into the Land of Dawn we go for match number 1, game number 1, right here. As Beloyski is already doing something pretty interesting, right? Using the Guardian's Barrier to actually prolong the minions to get into the mid lane.
When you're able to delay the minions from meeting in the lane, you kind of guarantee that it will kind of push towards you actually. So that's an interesting play from Beloyski. We'll see if it actually makes a difference. It will allow Kadera, as you can see, to actually have the minions closer to his side of the map. It provides extra bits of security because the Franco is already waiting in the wings as Clay here gets chunked in the mid lane.
See, everyone has mentioned that Lunox is a late game hero, but level 1, I think she's one of, if not the strongest mages in that mid lane in terms of the dueling power, because when she is using her first ability, that sustain just adds so much on top of the damage that she's able to dish out.
You're right, but I don't think the damage is there just yet, but the fact that she's able to sustain in lane is awesome. It's great because she does have that laning power because she doesn't have to recall as much. But now we can see here there's a lot of emphasis in towards the gold lane. We saw that Vin rotated towards the bottom side, realizing that Kadera could be the main factor in Geek Fam's success. But there is actually a split here in terms of the audience predictions based on the drafts, but the hook connects onto Beloyski. First blood instantly taken.
Vin took that personally, but Jana's here as well with the enhanced chain, forcing a flicker out of Vin and Clay. No, Vin used the flicker earlier on, but again, Arashi, well, Arashi and Eterna, there's a pattern here, all right, based on the talent prediction. You and Omawa, Arashi, both of the analysts have gone for RRQ.
Exactly, so make of that what you will, but I think that RRQ, they have all the tools necessary to actually take the victory here. I think it comes down to execution. Of course, Geek Fam can still exceed my expectations and come out on top here. As they go for the turtle, they do have advantages when it comes to crowd control. There you go.
Albert with a knockout strike. He's able to steal it away with a knockout strike again onto Luke. He's able to knock him up for Clay to pick up the kill. How? Oh my god. RRQ. Albert might be back in form. 3v1. A Lunox to control the objectives, and still he was able to steal it away from Jana. And now, no, okay, Jana gets it. Close there, almost stolen away by Vin.
He's angry. He's very angry, and now you can see the pressure that RRQ Hoshi are trying to put on towards the bottom lane. The rotations from Clay as well as Vin to prevent as well Jana Cutie from farming too much.
Bloody Hunt popped in, and that's the wild charge stolen away, but Beloyski comes back into play. He's gonna get shot down by the ball. Skylar, absolutely a menace on this Bruno. One of his signature picks that we haven't gone to see for such a long time. But Arashi, let's take a look at the emblems.
Off the bat, the killing spree for Kadera. He intends to play very, very aggressively, but it's not working out just yet. RRQ is pushing into the bottom side. And when it comes to that DPS output, so Kadera is working against the clock. He has the sprint as well, though. So I'm not quite sure what his plan exactly is, because RRQ Hoshi, they're playing for that early game, and it's working so well for them right now, abusing the amount of tankiness and crowd control they have in their arsenal.
They're switching things up, and notice that Skylar is going to be able to deal a lot of damage as well in this early game because he is on that Bruno. Him being able to take that one kill is also going to be quite detrimental to Geek Fam here, as now they are the ones leading with a 2,000 gold lead. You see a setup happening from RRQ Hoshi as it is 14 seconds left to the turtle, and that just might be the target that they go for.
Right now, Beloyski is supposed to deny the playmaking from RRQ Hoshi, but he's been caught out off guard again and again. Later on, maybe in the mid to late game, they can adjust, and RRQ Hoshi will find less and less success. But so far, we know that RRQ Hoshi likes to abuse this. They like to play for vision, they like to play for control, and trap you in situations where you don't expect RRQ Hoshi to be.
Let's see, Geek Fam already trying to contest the second turtle of the game. R7 going to be knocked up there by the Enhanced Chain, and the damage coming in from Elzura will not be able to take him down just yet. Sprint popped in by R7. Turtle take coming in as Albert jumps in, absolutely knocking Luke in place. Clay goes in with a wild charge, and look at the Bloody Hunt, able to catch Jana, who's still able to escape, but Albert secures the turtle once again. Skylar with a solo kill down below. 1v1, no problem. What's going on? Kills across the board for RRQ.
What? How? How is this possible? RQ Hoshi initially with a 1,000 gold lead, now creeping up to that 4,000 level point. And that was insane. The way that Geek Fam was actually able to set up first, but man, RQ Hoshi, they didn't care at all. Albert, though, as well as Janacuti, both are not using the Demon Slayers, so perhaps that is exactly what they're going for. They're able to take it into their hands, and the question is, what have they taken in terms of that item?
Well, Hunter Strike is available for Albert, and we saw the burst damage, but Baloyski goes for the wild charge.
Oh, 3-man enhanced chain by Jana, as that's going to be the wrap-up from the side of Elzura, picking up a double kill, going for R7, but look at the falling, he's comboed in with Albert. He's going to be able to secure a double kill. Clay gets out, 1 HP for Albert. Luke as well. Jana looking for that final hit. It's a 3 for 3 in the end. Jana with the enhanced chain, but Clay with a good read on the situation. Oh, man. This is a very exciting game, very fresh game, as you guys can also stay fresh with the new Axe effect. The better you smell, the better you play.
Wow, what a performance from both teams. It was definitely worth it for Geek Fam to try and get trades there. The gold lead has gone down, but here Luke gets jumped on by Albert and Vin.
Oh man, yeah, you're not really gonna move
The chain CC.
Chain CC'd by the Bloody Hunt and just shot down by the Bruno. But Geek Fam are able to find compensation in that mid lane. Again, taking a look at the compositions, Eterna, Geek Fam need a little bit longer to get those power spikes.
You're right, you're right. So far, this is the way that RK Hoshi have planned it. Because they have the Franco, because they have someone like the Clay, as well as Skylar, they're going to be able to be more aggressive, far more aggressive than Geek Fam. But even though RK Hoshi is winning in those trades, Geek Fam, they're still able to look for compensation on the board. Being able to get that bottom side and that mid side is going to be huge, because now they do have the map pressure in those areas.
RQ, they actually get the turtles, and they don't get they get more control on the top side, but they trade it for a lot of objectives other sides of the map as well. So Geek Fam adjusting really well, but RRQ, they still have a chance here.
And remember what Luke said, Arashi? He said in the comment that Fredrin is a very easy hero to play, especially if you're up against melee heroes. In RRQ, they took that. It was like, all right, we know how to counter, you know? We put the Bruno up top, and he becomes useless there, but look at the wild charge coming in with Enhanced Chain as well. R7 gonna get taken down by the Chaos from Elzura. Concealed play being popped in. Good juke away from the hook. Vin unable to find anything else, backing off.
But there is also a presence of a Luna from the side of Geek Fam. It's not going to be that easy, but Vin forced the flicker here very early, nearly taken down.
They're looking for a fight. Baloyski joins in the fray. Clay able to pick up the kill onto Luke, who's now 1 and 4. The Fredrin not really having that success that he had in the previous matchup, but now it's going to be Baloyski who's going to get chain CC'd. Not able to move, but look at Albert's damage. Almost taking down Elzura. R7 charging at Falling Star Moon, looking for the zone as RRQ convert on the mid lane turret.
That's a great performance from RRQ, and Albert's damage is insane right now, 5-0, and he's playing this Paquito as a complete assassin. And Geek Fam, they just constantly get chain CC'd because there's so many sources on the side of RRQ, mainly because Clay keeps taking the wild charge from Baloyski as well. We've seen that he's been abusing that to his advantage, and RRQ, after focusing on the side lanes, they go for that mid turret, and now they're going to go and control the Lord area.
Yeah, and in terms of levels as well, it turns out Geek Fam, they're not too far behind. Janacuti 1 level below Albert for the moment, and you can see that the way that he's able to roam around the map, he's more trying to look for compensation. He's going in for that utility. He's going in and looking for those trades on the map, those towers, and that might actually be the way that they can still stay relevant in the game. RRQ Hoshi, though, will be the first one towards this Lord pit, but Geek Fam very quick in response.
RRQ back away from the Lord, knowing that now members of Geek Fam are already in the area. R7 will have a chance to push out the top side. We see that RRQ Hoshi, though, they have the advantage in clearing in the bot side. So now they have a chance to work around and try and find an opportunity to try and go for a pick, because they do have that Franco in the hands of Vin. So we'll see if they actually initiate. Flickers are available for particularly Vin, who can just force and engage with that.
Luke is in the sights of Vin. He goes for that.
Oof.
Oh, close, very, very close there. Again, yeah, Geek Fam have actually been able to trade pretty well. In terms of turrets, RRQ have 5, and Geek Fam not really that far behind with 4. The only thing they're lacking right now is that neutral objective control that they're trying to get once again. But look at that mid lane pressure from R7. Pushing it out, getting the better setup for now. And it's going to be very tough for Geek Fam at this point.
You're right. And it's scary because the person who has to clear at this moment, it's going to be Kadira. And that is just information for Araki Hoshi to maybe isolate this person. You can already see Vin here looking for something as well onto Kadira. And it's bad because Kadira just got the BOD, so his power spike is starting to show, and he is going to be very important when it goes into these 5v5 team fights. They're going to need his damage.
Geek Fam going further and further towards the jungle of RRQ, but if they're not careful, they can get cut off from their own base. This is quite dangerous from both these teams. If Geek Fam can get the combo, we've seen that it's a lot of damage, it's a lot of AoE, but if they don't, RRQ Hoshi, they have a chance to just... Oh! Baloyski survives with the CC immunity, but the conceal play is underway.
Wild charge coming in with a flicker as well. Skylar going to get popped there by Jana QT as Albert comes in with a knockout strike. Instantly shut down. Bloody Hunt picked up right now as that's going to be Geek Fam looking for a collapse on Tubin. Chidera guns him down. R7 with the falling Star Moon backing up. Clay stole the wild charge, but man, Geek Fam, what a play. Securing the advantage once again, and that setup was brilliant. Now, free Lord over to Geek Fam.
Baloyski's instinct was just so on point there. He saw that sliver, that small window of opportunity, few seconds of opportunity to get a kill onto Skylar, the person who's been dealing so much damage when they go in for those team fights, and they were able to actually take him out. When Skylar is gone, they literally have no one else. Sure, Clay is able to dish a bit amount of damage, but so far they're being heavily reliant on Albert, on Skylar, and the way that Geek Fam was able to set that up really prevented any of that from happening.
Unfortunately, after Skylar gets picked off, Albert follows through and he gets shut down as well. So the gold advantage is no longer available for Araki Hoshi, and Geek Fam now has the Lord to play around with. They were both contesting the mid-side pressure, the mid-side area, but Araki Hoshi afterwards, they didn't expect Geek Fam to try and go from the bottom side instead. So Geek Fam with the more flexible options, the more flexible routes to try and surprise Araki Hoshi, it paid off massively for them in this game. And now Araki Hoshi is stuck trying to deal with Geek Fam and the Lord pressure they are exerting on them right now.
And I just want to give credit to Geek Fam, right? Because in the early stage, it did feel like, they just weren't able to find their jam. But even then, with the weaker early game heroes, they always... The person who dies, the person who takes that death from Geek Fam is always the tanks right now. But Vin goes in for the hook onto Beloy. Not sure if that's going to be a good decision to make. That's a roamer, and because they targeted Beloyski, that topside base turret will fall, and that's just not good at all. Again, massive value for Geek Fam right now with that Lord picking up the base turret. Vin goes in for the hook with the conceal as well. Beloyski with the Guardian's Barrier, able to lock Albert there in that bush. But both teams disengage again. Geek Fam, they can walk away with a good trade, and that's what they do.
Can I just say how crazy this game is? Araki Hoshi, they were leading with almost 5,000-6,000 gold, and now Geek Fam, they're the ones leading. You were right. We talked about that power spike, and it's starting to show. They're able to utilize, play very patient in that early game, and we can see these items starting to build, Arashi.
Later on, it seems like both teams are quite equal when it comes to the late-game hero options. There's an Esmeralda and Bruno and a Valentina on the side of Araki Hoshi, but of course for Geek Fam, they have solutions to those problems. So now, without that gold lead, Araki Hoshi needs to be very, very careful in how they want to approach the fights, especially because Geek Fam has shown they can calculate the probability and they know who exactly to target in these fights. If Skylar gets taken out, that's already a huge source of DPS gone from Araki Hoshi. And in this 14-minute mark, you really can't afford to make that kind of mistake.
And one thing I do want to mention again as well here, on top of what you already mentioned, Arashi, is the fact that, look at Chidera. What is he building? He's building towards, again, just full damage, right? No defensive items at all so far, aside from the boots, obviously. But with this, it just shows that Geek Fam, they know they have so much CC, they have so much frontline pressure that RIQ can't even really go for that back line, right? The only person who can dive is probably R7 and Clay, if Clay gets a good wild charge. If he doesn't, if he's the one who gets CC'd first, it's goodbye.
And even then, R7 is not going to be having a really fun time. No defensive magic items at all. And the Lunox already with the Clock of Destiny,
Genius Wand.
Genius Wand for more penetration and more damage, as well as that Lightning Truncheon. So that damage is just going to melt someone like R7 down. And that is a problem now for Araki Hoshi because they're relying heavily on R7 to be able to be that frontliner.
And this is what makes Fredrin a little bit better as well in these front-to-back situations. The taunt, Arashi. It can actually take so much of the attention from RRQ and these little skirmishes in the team fights especially. But look at RRQ. They notice Fredrin has been in mid lane. They look for an engage here. Falling Sound charged in. Chadera able to get out. Lord reset it. Very well played by Geek Fam as Luke jumps in with a taunt. Maloyski flickers in. No wild charge just yet. He goes in. Finally, R7 gets deleted by Elzura, but another wild charge comes in by Clay. Wave of the World as well. Popped in to pick up a kill in the back lines. Janna taken low. 1 for 1. Both of the XP laners taken down, but RRQ win out in the trade this time.
If you look at the bottom side, though, the wave is pushing very, very strongly for RRQ Hoshi. Geek Fam will be forced to deal with that, and RRQ Hoshi know that. They push the tempo, they pressure, they force Geek Fam to come, and it's going to be another fight.
They use the sprint. Look at the battle spells, all used up. Meanwhile, RRQ, Skylar still has the flicker, and Geek Fam will not be able to contest, will not be able to force another reset on the Lord. It's RRQ Hoshi with a massive Lord take in the 16th minute enhanced.
We could see the indecisiveness as well coming in from Geek Fam. Elzura, like Arashi mentioned, was forced to go to that bottom side to deal with that wave pushing because they don't want to lose their inhibitor turret. But he kind of like moved back and forth, a little confused perhaps whether or not to join into that fight.
It's because they were playing in a choke point. They can't really go for these. They can't really go for the fights in the choke points unless they get Skylar, right? Skylar with the Wave of the World and Clay with the Wild Charge. It just seals the deal. There's no way you win in those closed spaces. You need to go for an open fight like in lane. And funnily enough, that's usually how Geek Fam are able to win those team fights.
Well, in the previous fight, Geek Fam also already exhausted the conceal option from Boloisky, and they were unable to get anything of value with it. So RRQ Hoshi can just counter-engage. Right now, though, with the Lord coming in, RRQ Hoshi will be attempting to find a bit more, but the Lord gets cleared out almost immediately, and Geek Fam will be able to defend.
That's the high ground defense that Clint and, well, technically almost everyone here, Janna, Elzura, and Chadera, their wave clear is phenomenal. On top of that, they also have Baloy and Luke, who are frontliners, but they deal a lot of damage too.
Did RQ not get anything for that Lord push?
They got, I think they got a few turrets,
I
think.
Tier 2, but look at this. Luke's going to get hooked there. No, Maloyski goes for the charge, and there you go. A good bait, but look at R7, jumps in with the falling Simon onto the back lines, and that's going to be the combo wombo. Janna trying to run away. Luke going to get taken down. Janna go for the enhanced chain, able to knock R7 up, but he's going to get knocked out by Albert. Janna picks up a killing spree. Luke is the only one left to defend. 4v1. Minion wave still there. One cannon minion and one small one. Albert jumps in once again. Luke's going to be hooked again. Luke trying to deal the damage, trying to lifesteal, but it will not be enough. It's a wipeout by Head and Shoulders. RRQ Hoshi secure game number 1.
The last minute moment that RRQ Hoshi needed to seal the